So we're here at the church where I run broadcast. So I'm gonna run through the thought process behind setting up a broadcast. Here we go. So running down what we got, we're running Pro Tools on a custom template. We're running Avid S1s with iPads. iPads aren't doing anything. We'll start all the way down here. So I've got my kicks, snare, tom buses, overheads, drums, bass, 2 electric guitars, keys, keys 2, because sometimes we're running an aux channel, tracks. Then we have our vocalists over here. This is mainly buses, so I know all my buses are at my right hand ready to go. Drums, keys, vocals, all band. Videos, for when videos fire up here. Then I've got speaker 1, speaker 2, and then pastor mic. We're running Dutch and Dutch 8Cs. I have these in my room and my studio as well. They're fantastic. Awesome to have a meter here because it's all about getting everything right for broadcast. And I always have my L2 up just so I know about what's going on. And then tonal balance control helps me because this isn't a room I mix in every day. So this is a good quick snapshot. So much of this stuff, broadcast, is doing your homework up front and getting the levels set, getting the general tones, and then it's responding to what's happening in the moment, trusting that you have the tones right, trusting that everything is there and it's gonna work the right way, and then you just respond. Doing this is very different than working in the studio or even doing like front of house sound. It's kind of like the hybrid in between. We want studio quality tones, but you have to be as flexible as a live sound individual. So I need that latency to be super low, not because anybody's paying attention to it, because I need to sync with video. I need to make sure once it leaves my 4 walls here and then goes over to broadcast video, that stuff is still within a certain tolerance, that it can be synced the right way. Now here we are running controllers, and I don't think you really need to run controllers, but it definitely helps if there's certain tracks that you can just have at your fingertips and you know where they are all the time, because if somebody goes for a solo, you don't need to be looking through and mousing through to try to find EG2. You just need to know exactly where that is and push it. You have to be as knowledgeable about the songs and the song structure as the musicians playing those songs, knowing and anticipating who's gonna go for a solo here, is the bass gonna do a fill, what to pull back when, is the singer gonna go for kind of a moment where they're gonna speak and you gotta pull those effects down. You have to be right on top of what they're doing, which makes it a whole lot of fun. This room looks pretty intense. There's a lot going on in here. I'm in a completely separate space than the rest of the individuals who are running the show here. I have a lot of outboard gear. None of it's being used right now. Everything's happening in the box. We are working from a template that is maybe complicated right off the bat, but it's streamlined so that anybody can sit down and quickly understand what's happening. From a processing standpoint, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible. I'm trusting that the musicians know the tones that they want to achieve and they're pushing it through. I'm trusting that they're going to control their dynamics. I am doing compression, I am doing limiting, but it's not nearly as heavy-handed as you might think. In a situation like this, my approach with vocals especially is treating everybody exactly the same. I mean, general EQ changes, but I'm setting things the same so that when they are blending and when they're doing those things, you're hearing the difference in the singers themselves, not the processing that I'm trying to push into them. And same with guitars. I'm gonna try to do the exact same thing across the board because they're responding to each other in real time. I wanna keep that relationship the best that I can here. I don't think broadcast audio is about bending and shaping these things into what they have to be, but setting up general principles from a mixing standpoint to make it translate well, but setting a stage so that whoever's on stage, it still flatters what they're doing. And here's an important thing to remember, right? This is how I do it. Nobody trained me how to do this. This is just my instincts as an engineer, working live sound, working front of house, working in the studio. I've found that this is kind of a hybrid of all of it. I've worked with different companies doing this, but no one really trained me to do broadcast audio. So if some of these things are weird and some of these things don't work for you, forget about them. Shameless self-promotion here. If you are interested in some of the things that I'm doing, check out worshipstreamaudio.com. There's a couple things up right now. You can get the template that I've used for a long time. There will be courses up and training available for those interested in something like that. But the important thing to remember with this, you are part of the musical expression of this. You are the driver of emotion here. Yes, the musicians are doing that in their hands and on stage and they're providing the performance, but without you responding with faders and not just a static mix, but responding in the moment and feeling the arc of what they're trying to express in their musicality, none of this works. None of this translates. It doesn't matter how good your mix is. If you're not responding to the art that's happening, it's not going to work, period. What better place to do mix review than at a picnic?
Is that better? Oh, good.
A lot.
Who raised these kids? Day 2, back here. Had a chance to listen to stuff in multiple environments in my car, AirPods, online, stuff like that. Wasn't super happy with the mix, but I get another day to try it. Chris Cookiehoff told me, gotta have the memory of a goldfish. Forget stuff quickly, do better next time. Ted Lasso style. Here we go. All in all, this is super fun. If this is something you want to get into, you can start doing this at your church or with your own band or wherever you're doing live music. It doesn't have to be this impressive of a setup. You can do this with just a laptop and a Dante connection to a board that you already have. Get out there, try stuff, try responding. It's a whole different way to connect with different people. And mine's about to start, so I better get off here. Made it. 3 services. First service, I really didn't like how I had mixed it, but that's just how it goes. It wasn't until really the 3rd time through that I felt like I got something that I was really proud of. I wasn't fundamentally changing EQ settings, or I wasn't changing compression settings. I wasn't changing things tonally at all. I was writing faders, and that's the thing to remember here. So much of this is how you're responding to what's happening in real time. Running live broadcasts like this is a very different process from in the studio or front of house. It's just its own beast for sure, and it comes with its own set of challenges, but there is so much learning that can happen here to teach you how to be a musician, someone part of the process. And even though I'm in a basement far away from the stage, far away from the musicians actually making it, it's easy to forget sometimes, but I am very much a part of that creation of music. And so working really, really hard and really, really quick to get those engineer mindset things finished so that when you are live and you are rolling, that you're just a musician who's jamming with the rest of the band in the moment, and your instrument just happens to be faders. Anyway guys, if you guys have any questions about this, please let me know down in the comments below. Check out worshipstreamaudio.com if you're interested. Go to the Patreon, there'll be tracks there if you want to try to play mixing stuff just like what I'm doing. If you like this one, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more like this. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy, I'll see you in the next one.